I say everything? Like what
we're live now.
Is? Before Caryl introduces herself.
Hi everybody, we're live now. Carol's about to introduce herself. We got to apologise. Thank you all for joining and thank you all for being ever so patient and waiting for us while we've been dealing with our technical gremlins on this side of things. So I was going to start with a lovely long speech about groesawu Chyngor to welcome you all here, but we're running a little bit behind now, aren't we? So without further ado, we're going to start tonight's session. I'll explain to you what tonight's session is before I have a quick drink of water. So we've got the lovely Megan here with us from Denbighshire Youth Council, and Caryl, who is the Youth Engagement Officer for the Senedd. Now, Megan in a minute is going to explain to you what the Youth Council is, what we do and why we're here, but I'm going to quickly give you a bit about, people are saying hello. Who's saying hello? Ellen is saying hello. Hi, Ellen. I will quickly explain to you what the purpose of tonight's session is. So working with these lovely lot, the Denbighshire Youth Council, they are a group of young people who go out and find issues, identify issues that are affecting young people in Denbighshire. And then they find creative solutions to tackle those issues and give young people a platform and an opportunity to have their voices heard. One of the issues that they have identified recently is that the voting age for young people in Wales has been lowered to 16. So they have decided to hold this forum this evening and ask the person in the know, Caryl, to answer some of the questions. So, Megan, I'm going to hand over to you just as people are saying more hellos. We've got Jake and Emily and people are cool. Hey, Emily. Oh, you don't know Emily. Emily used to be a regular participant in these live sessions last year. Oh, Emily, good to see you back. So, I'm going to hand over to Megan now, who's going to explain what the Youth Council have done to get to this point. Megan, do you want to talk to us a little bit about the questionnaire and all that good bits? Oh, and also introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. So I have been in the Youth Council now for 2 years, and a recent topic that we've started doing is to vote at 16. And so what we've done is we sent out a survey to young people across Denbighshire, and with the results we got back, we came up with some questions to help you have a better understanding of what it is.
Excellent. And we'll be putting those questions to Caryl and taking your questions in the chat. So Caryl, who are you and why have we asked you to come in? And also, are you currently sitting in the Senedd building in Cardiff? It's very impressive.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, I'm not actually sitting in the Senedd in Cardiff. I wish I was, because I really, really miss going down to Cardiff to the Senedd building. I used to go every month from up here in Cyngor Bay, but no, I haven't been for over a year now. But yeah, hi everybody, and thanks for having me today. I am a youth engagement officer working within the Senedd, so I do things like this all the time. This is my job, and I really, really love my job. It's to speak to you guys as young people about the Senedd, what the Senedd does, and how you can get involved in what the Senedd does as well. And of course, talking about votes at 16 at the minute, which is really exciting. I'm super excited about the fact that 16 and 17-year-olds are going to be able to vote for the first time ever here in Wales. So it's history in the making. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, Chris, we're absolutely welcome. Thank you ever so much for coming along. Right, so without further ado, I think how we're going to do this, for those of you who are viewing at home and those of you who are viewing post the live stream, we've kind of sectioned out the important bits, or the main bit from the survey and the consultation we did with young people. We're going to focus on them in sections. I think it's 4 sections, if I'm right in thinking. Is that right, Megan? You're the one who knows. I don't know. How many sections? How many?
5, I think.
5. See, what do I know? Megan has 5 sections, and we're going to go through these. Please feel free to write your questions in the comment sections, or if you're watching this post the live thing, also put them in the comment sections, and we can get back to you then. So, yeah, cool, lovely. Right, Megan, without further ado, I'll try my best to stay quiet now. And I'll pass over to you.
Okay, so from the survey we sent out a couple of days ago, we found out that 85% of young people know their voting age has been lowered. Can you explain a little bit more about this?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's really great to hear that 85% of young people know that the voting age has been lowered. I mean, that's amazing. And it shows that I'm doing something right, yeah? Because it is part of my job to make sure that you, as young people, know that the voting age has been lowered to 16. So we've been really, really busy for the last 6, 7, 8 months, speaking to young people in high schools and youth groups as well across the whole of Wales about voting to 16 and what that means as well. You know, talking as part of like your meetings, maybe as a youth council, or we've been to youth clubs, school council meetings, school assemblies, but also doing events like this as well, which is a bit more cool and a bit more informal, and it's just a really good way to get you or give you the opportunity just to ask questions, because once you've got the information, you do have questions, and it's really important that you are able to access answers to those and make sure that you're fully aware and have all the information that you need. But no, it's really great to hear that 85% of you know that the
I think it's important to note, Caryl, that it's 85% of young people from Denbighshire. They're a very informed lot over in Denbighshire. Just putting that out there. And also, of course,
I mean, I wasn't expecting anything less. Than Denbighshire.
Well, of course, you've already delivered a session to the Youth Council, which brought upon these issues in the first place. So, once again, you're doing your job. You're doing a great job, Caryl. Doing a great job over there in Colwyn Bay / Cardiff. Right. Anybody, if you've got questions in the chat, please do feel free to drop them in. I'll ask Caryl, or I'll relay them through. Megan, what was the other things that we picked up on in the questionnaire consultation?
So 45% of young people don't actually know that when the election is taking place. What can you tell them about the date and when it is?
Okay, so the date of the election is Thursday, the 6th of May. Okay, traditionally, all elections are held on the first Thursday of the month. That's why it's on the 6th of May. Yeah, Thursday, the 6th of May. So yeah, Thursday, the 6th of May is the day that the Senedd election is being held. So you need to make sure you make a note of it, and that you know that that's when the election is happening. That's when you need to place your vote. I think the low number there, the 45% of young people knowing the date of the election, there has been uncertainties around the date because of the pandemic. Yeah, people weren't sure whether the election was still going to go ahead on the 6th of May because, of course, we're only just being allowed to mingle and mix a little bit more in public. So people weren't sure whether it was going to happen. There is actually a piece of law that was passed in the Senedd a few weeks back that meant that we could postpone the election up to 6 months, up to November. So that was just a bit of a backup plan. Yeah, it's always good to have a backup plan, isn't it? So that law was put in place just to make sure that they had a backup plan and they were able to move it. So I think a lot of the news channels, radios were kind of umming and ahhing around the date. I'm not sure when it was going to happen, but it's definitely Thursday, the 6th of May.
Thursday, the 6th of May. I think this question might come up again in a minute, but there's somebody on the chat. Jake, one of the lovely young people from Denbighshire, has asked a question. How do we vote? So,
okay, so go on.
Oh no, you've got the answers, Caryl. What do I know?
So I'm really glad that I'm speaking to you tonight, because the first thing that you need to do before you were thinking about going to vote on the 6th of May is make sure that you've registered to vote. Okay, you need to register to vote before midnight on Monday, because that's when it closes.
This Monday?
Midnight on the 19th of April. Yeah, Monday coming now. Yeah. If I can, I'll put a link in the chat to the register to vote page that you've got access to it right now. It literally takes 2 minutes, yeah? All you need is a bit of personal details and a national insurance number. And then you're registered. Once you're registered, you get like a polling card. I don't know if you can see mine on the screen. But it's like a postcard in the post, and that shows you that you've registered, yeah? And it's also got the date for where you need to go to vote, okay? So that's step one, make sure you've registered. If you're not registered, they're not going to let you vote, okay? And then on the day then, so you can either go to your local polling station, yeah, and they'll give you your ballot papers or your voting papers, and then you'll be able to go to a booth and put a cross in the box for whoever you want to vote for. You can vote by post as well, okay? But again, there is a closing date on applications for postal vote as well, which is 20th of April, so Tuesday.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Caryl, because that question's just literally popped up in the chat from a young person called Teresa. She said, "How do we vote if we can't make it on the day?"
Postal vote. Okay. I am going to put a link to the Electoral Commission. Okay, is a body that's been put in place to oversee like how elections work. And they've got loads of information about how to vote, okay? And it's got the link to register to vote, and it's got all the applications for things like postal vote. So postal vote closes on Tuesday, the 20th of April. You can also vote by proxy, yeah, which means that you ask somebody you trust to go and vote for you. So say if you're away with work in Cardiff or something, yeah, you can send your mum, your dad, or your nan, or auntie Will, or whatever, yeah, to send to the polling station to vote for you. But you need to make an application for that as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
And proxy vote application closed on the 29th of April, so you've got a bit more time with that one. But I'll find the Electoral Commission webpage in a minute, and I'll pop that in the chat.
Yeah, if you pop it in the chat, I'll take you from the chat and put it into the chat. If you see what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, cool. that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that answers your question about how you go to vote.
Megan, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers 2 questions in one.
2 questions in one. Perfect. What was the next thing that we identified through the consultation?
So from the survey, half of the young people told us that they didn't know what they were voting for. So what can you tell us about the purpose of the election?
Okay, this is the big thing, because in Wales, there's a bit of echo, sorry. We have more than one election here in Wales. So we vote for our Senedd members, which is happening in May. We vote for local councillors, we vote for members of Parliament, so it all gets really confusing. Yeah, there's lots of people that we're voting for, but what do they all actually do? So in terms of the Senedd, you're voting for 60 members of the Senedd from all across Wales, okay? And what they do is they get together in the Senedd building, and they discuss, debate, and make decisions around things that they have power over, okay? And the things that the Senedd has power over are things like your education, the environment in Wales, healthcare, mental health services, transport, housing, water, fire and rescue services, flood defences. There's loads of things that the Senedd has power over, okay? And that's what you will be voting for on the 6th of May. You're voting for the best people to go to this chamber behind me here, yeah, to sit and discuss and debate and make decisions about those things, yeah. If you take the last year into consideration, for example, we've been in the middle of a global health pandemic, yeah. In this room, you've had 60 members of the Senedd that have been discussing our healthcare and what they're going to do to look after us and keep us well and safe. They've been talking about your education as young people, yeah, what they're going to do in terms of keeping you home or sending you into school? And if they are keeping you home, what is available to help you to still be able to be educated, and resources and things for your teachers to share with you. So all of those things, that's what you're voting for on the 6th of May. You need to vote for the best people to discuss those things for the next 5 years, because that's how long they're elected for. Does that answer the question?
I think it answers the question, and we just had a comment come up saying, why should we vote? Just before you started to explain all that. And it's funny, really, I was just listening to what you were saying, Caryl, and a lot of, and Megan, I'm sure you'll agree with me, a lot of the times when we do consultation work with young people in Denbighshire, the same issues seem to emerge in terms of what young people are focused on or would like to do more work on. And it's always education, environment, mental health services. And it's these are all the things that are getting debated in Senedd and the Caryl. These are the things that people are making decisions on. So it really is issues that are affecting young people, and young people in Wales actually care about. So it's interesting you should say that. And that's why, who put that comment in there said, why should we vote? Well, that's why. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it lets you have your say on who's going to run the country for the next 5 years. And it's just one way to make sure that your voice is being heard. It's really, really important. It's a really powerful thing. Yeah, definitely.
Diane, brilliant. Megan, where are we?
That was the last question I had.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay, cool. Well, we'll open it up to. So you've heard what Carol's got to say. You've heard what the Youth Council had to say. If anybody's got any other comments and questions to put into the comment thing, please do. I'll relay them to Megan and Caryl. Caryl, is there anything else that you'd like to add to that you don't think that we've covered that's important?
I was going to say, maybe some of you might not quite be old enough to vote, yeah? Because I know the Youth Council works with young people from 11 upwards.
That's it.
So as well as the Senedd, we do have a Welsh Youth Parliament as well. Some of you might already know about the Welsh Youth Parliament, but it's 60 young people between the age of 11 to 18 from all across Wales. And they are the only other people that are allowed to sit in this room, apart from the members of the Senedd. And they discuss things around mental health services, the environment, and the curriculum. That's just some of the things that the last Welsh Youth Parliament did some work on. So if anybody's interested in the Welsh Youth Parliament, there's a website, and they will be launching their next election campaign at the end of May. Sorry, there's a bit of feedback.
Oh, sorry. Shall I turn the volume thing down here? Yeah, we're very aware of the Welsh Youth Parliament over here in Denbighshire. I know we had a successful member of the Youth Council, actually, was a member of the Welsh Youth Parliament in the 2017 election. That was the first one, was it? Or was it 2018?
2018.
Oh, I was close.
Closer.
And we had a few applicants, and I know there are a few people here and in the Youth Council that are dead keen to get involved in that. Did you say that applications open in May?
End of May.
End of May.
They'll launch everything as part of the Steddfod. But I put the website in the chat, though.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect.
Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, no problem. Excellent. Diolch yn fawr iawn. So let's go over some of the key points before we wrap it up. Any other questions in the chat section, please do keep them coming. So the key dates are, the whole reason why we were doing this event today is that the last date to register to vote is
Monday, the 19th of April.
Yes. And then the vote takes place on
Thursday, the 6th of May.
And you cannot vote unless you've registered. You cannot turn up there with but I live down the road. You've got to register to have your voice heard, to have the power to put that vote and put the X in the box. And if you need to, you can register to do a proxy vote by the
29th of April.
Wow. I know all these dates, Caryl, but I'll just check in to see that you still did. Are there any other dates that we needed to know? Oh, the Welsh Youth Parliament elections take place in...
So they'll launch the campaign at the end of May, and then the election will be in November.
Got it. Yeah. So, but let's not get confused with the votes at 16.
November, you'll be able to make an application to put yourself forward as candidates.
Perfect. Oh, hold on. How do we find that? Oh, here we go. There's a question that's come up. Left field. How do we find out information on the parties that we can vote for?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
It is. I think the easiest thing to do is to use Google and do some research. Yeah. So all the political parties that are standing in the election have got their own websites, they've got social media channels, and they will be sharing like a manifesto. Now, a manifesto is a list of things that they promise to do if they are elected as the best party,
right,
or if they win the election. Yeah. As well as that, I found really happy people called "Who Can I Vote For?" That's literally the name of the website. whocanIvotefor.org is.
Okay, who can I vote
all
for?
You do once you get to the website is put your postcode in, and it'll come up with a list of everybody that's standing in your area.
Standing for election, not just standing.
Mm-hmm.
Standing for election.
Standing for
Sorry,
election.
that was a rubbish joke. I'm so sorry. It was a dad joke. So there isn't a website that exists that you can put your postcode in to find out who's just generally standing. It's standing for election. Oh, forget it. Carry on. I'll be quiet. I said I'd be quiet. I'll be quiet.
But yeah, that's the easy thing to do. BBC Wales as well are really good at kind of updating like a news article on who's standing in each party in each area and so on.
So what was that website?
Yeah.
What was that website again?
Who can I vote for?
whocanIvotefor.org.
Yeah, I'll just double check.
Hey, that's not.
I don't want to give you the wrong information.
No. But it sounds like, you know, everybody likes information to be quick and accessible. So if everything's in one website, one place, and almost like the highlights package, it'll give you that information to go and do further research. So if there's somebody on there that particularly catches your fancy and you like the sound of what they're saying, then you can use Mr. Google or Mrs. Google or whichever Google teacher you use to go and do some further exploration, couldn't you? Perfect.
Yeah,
great tip. That's a really great tip. Thanks for that question. Jake, give us that question. Thanks, Jake. That's a great question. Lovely stuff. So now that we know that we can vote at 16, we know when to register by, we know when the vote is taking place, we know if we're too lazy, we can send our mum to do it for us as long as we register. I don't think my mum would be best pleased, to be honest with you. But we know that that's a possibility. We know how to access the information on the parties. Megan, have we covered basically everything here and more from what we picked up in the consultation, or is there anything else?
No, I think that's everything.
That's pretty cool and pretty comprehensive, I'd say. Lovely. Yeah. Right. So those of you who are viewing live and those of you who are viewing in the future when this is put out as a video, still comment on these. We will get back to you. We will answer those comments within it. And if you need any further information, feel free to email us here at the Youth Council, youth.council@denbighshire.gov.uk. If it's anything that's beyond what we've discussed in this, we will forward it on to Caryl, because Caryl is the fountain of knowledge when it comes to anything vote and Senedd related. But please do keep the conversation going. If you're watching this in a week's time and you think, I wish they'd have talked about that, send us an email. Or obviously in a week's time, you'll have missed the registration, won't you, Caryl? Provided that you have registered to vote, and this isn't past the vote, then no, Steve, please keep sending your comments. This is what the whole point of this was, wasn't it, Megan? It was to have a conversation, have an open forum with other young people in Denbighshire, and follow on from the questions that were raised in the consultation and the questionnaire. So yeah, lovely. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you ever so much. Caryl, thank you once again for your time. Megan, top marks to Denbighshire Youth Council. And once again, if you want to get involved in Denbighshire Youth Council and involved in all this kind of gubbins and look at our next topic, again, you can email youth.council@denbighshire.gov.uk. And one of the lovely young members will get in contact with you and tell you all about the work that we're doing. And I think we're done.
Thanks, everyone.
Lovely. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thanks, guys. Thanks to good to see you all again on the chat. Thanks to everybody who's putting your questions and comments in. Lovely to see some familiar faces in there as well. And we will, well, hopefully be back with another amazing Youth Council project in the future. I think. Lovely. Diolch yn fawr. See you again, guys.